Hey everybody, it's Logan here, and today I have a list for you that's 5 budget cards that I think should see more play in Commander. So we're just gonna start off real quick. The first card is Dragon Master Outcast. It's a 1 mana 1/1 that if you have 6 or more lands on your upkeep, make a 5/5. Now, I think this card is actually pretty good. I remember I used to play it all the time, and I just kind of forgot about it, but I haven't seen this card played in a while, and I think it's actually pretty good. I mean, I know it makes it on your upkeep. It's no like immediate impact, but a 1 mana investment that you could play and then still play other cards, hold up interaction, and then just start accruing value, especially in like token decks, attacks decks. I think just getting a 5/5 on every upkeep is totally fine, especially at a 1 mana investment where you could still play other things after you play it. And if you look at the counter, a card that's similar, it's 6 more mana, Sandworm Convergence. Make a 5/5 worm on your end step, I believe, and then creatures without flying can't attack you. I mean, I make fun of it now, but I used to play that card all the time. I do like the card, but I think a 1 mana investment where you're making 5/5s with evasion is far better than a 7 mana, or I think, yeah, it's 7 or 8 mana investment where you're making a 5/5 on your end step and then creatures without flying can't attack you. I mean, like at 8 mana, that late in the game, usually, every time, like I said, I used to play the card a lot, and the amount of times that that text was relevant was like, I can count it on like one hand how many times that was relevant, or it just got removed. But I think, having, like I said, having a 1 mana investment that's making 5/5s every upkeep, that you could still hold up interaction, protection, play other spells, I think is pretty decent. And I definitely want to see have more play, especially at it's less than $1, I'm pretty sure, or it's about $2. It's cheap. I'll put the price up there, but yeah, I definitely think that deserves to see more play, especially with how cheap it is and efficient. The second card that I think is actually really good is Blighted Steppe. Now, the Blighted Land series isn't that good. Blighted Woodlands is actually all right. I've actually seen that see play, and it's fine. I mean, it's an Explosive Vegetation's on a land. Explosive Vegetation is a great card. There's definitely better cards you can play over that, but just having it a free roll on the land, I think is totally fine. But the other ones aren't really that good. Blighted Steppe, it's taps for colorless, and you pay 4 mana, and you get 2 life for each creature you control. Now, I know life gain, usually like not frowned upon, but like poo-pooed on, like, okay, whatever, especially with Commander now, people are comboing out, doing crazy stuff, but I think just having a land slot, especially in a mono white deck or a 2-color white deck, where you're creature heavy, just having that sitting there where someone's going to attack you or do like blast you with a fireball or anything that's going to damage you, you can just, okay, I'm going to gain 10, 20 life. I mean, you have 5 creatures, you get 10 life, which is easy, and especially playing a creature deck or a token heavy deck. I mean, if you have 10 creatures, you're gaining 20. Like, it's just 3 mana, gain a bunch of life, and you just put it in a land slot. It's easy. It's a free roll, basically. That's a card I think that's like 25 cents, which, definitely don't think it should be more than that, but I think it's definitely a free roll in any creature that you're playing that's mono white or 2 colors in white. I think it's really good. I'm probably going to order copies for all my white decks, to be honest. I was looking through cards, and I was like, you know what? I do like that. The next card is Vampiric Rites. Now, with how many sack outlets we have in Commander that are free, I could see this being a hard fit in most decks, like, where you're going to put it. You got your free sack outlets, and you got your payoffs. So having a 1 mana enchantment, it costs 2 to sack a creature, draw a card, gain a life. I definitely think there's definitely cards, especially on a budget, and there's definitely decks like Dina, the new Withered Bloom. I think uncommon commander is when you gain a life, each opponent loses 1 life, and I'm pretty sure that deck usually gains life by sacking creatures and draining people. So having that in there, again, it's another 1 mana investment, and I love Viserys here. You can sack stuff for free and scry, but with this, you can just sack, draw, gain, and I think it's good enough to fit decks. Like I said, it's super budget, and like I said, it's hard to beat free sack outlets, especially when you have the payoffs for it. You can just do it all at instant speed. But I do actually like it. I think if you could fit it in a deck where the Golgari decks that I play that have like, I put like Moldervine Reclamation in there. So when the creature dies, you draw a card, gain a life, but it's a 5 mana enchantment, and like it's really good, and nothing's going on in the game, and I can feel safe to play it. I always play it, but there's every time I hit, especially in Commander now, every time I hit, like you're hitting your turn 5, turn 4, just to drop that, sometimes it just feels bad because it's not really advancing your board state. But with Vampiric Rites, it's 1 mana. You can drop it. You can hold mana up. You could play other spells to advance your board state. And then down the line, you know, you can sack your board to draw a couple cards, or in response stack stuff. I think it's worth it, especially you have the instant life gain. Like I said, I think life gain is definitely underplayed in Commander, or undervalued. And I think the amount of times where if I just gained 2, 3, 4, 5 life and it saved me, like it's insane. I don't know if it's just my bad luck that if I just gained 2 life randomly, I would have not died and possibly won the game. But I do like the card, especially like I said, super budget, super cheap, super mana efficient, I think. And like I said, it's hard to beat free sack outlets, but if you could definitely fit that in somewhere, I think you should definitely try. Now the next card is a card, I love this card, and I can't believe I stopped playing. I used to play it all the time. Sire Stagnation. It's about $5.50, I think, $5.50, and it's, okay, I'm not going to say it's Consecrated Sphinx, because it is not Consecrated Sphinx, but whenever opponent plays, not even plays, I think when land enters the battlefield on their opponent's side, they exile the top 2 cards of the library and you draw 2 cards. So Consecrated Sphinx, at its minimal, you're drawing 2 cards on every opponent's upkeep. Sire Stagnation kind of does that because you're kind of presuming everyone's going to hit their land drop every turn. So at a minimal, you're getting 6 cards a turn, which is insane for about the same mana investment as Consecrated Sphinx. Now, Consecrated Sphinx ceiling is far higher, but Sire Stagnation, I think, is definitely, like you said, just 6 cards a turn, insane. And then you're exiling top 2 cards of the library, which is gravy on top. And with the prevalence of lands matter decks out there, this is just insane. Like, if you're playing anyone that's playing a lands matter deck and you drop this, they have to remove it, or they're just screwing themselves. You're exiling so many cards from the library, and you're drawing an insane amount of cards, which is amazing. When I played this card years ago, our play group was pretty new to Commander and Magic in general. And I feel like this is just the wrong play to do it. But I've had people where my friends would just like, I'm not playing a land this turn. And they would go 1 to 2 turns just not playing lands until they could remove it. And I'm like, you're sending people back at least 2 turns on land drops, which is insane. Now, I feel like that's not the right play. I wouldn't do it. I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to play land, exile, have 2 cards, draw 2 cards, because I'm not going to get behind. But it has put people behind, which is another thing that can happen, especially like a lands matter deck. I don't see how any of them are just going to play a million lands right into that without trying to remove it first, because the amount of cards they're losing from their library that they can't get back, and the amount of card advantage you're getting is just insane. So I love that card. I definitely think these needs to see more play. I used to see it, maybe not all the time when it came out, but it was like I played it, and I know a few other people that played it. I actually saw it, but I haven't seen it in so long. But I think it's definitely a really good card. Like I said, not Consecrated Sphinx level, but it is $5, and I think it's totally worth it. And the last card. So this card I play, and I have seen one other person play recently, but for the longest time I did not see anyone play it. And like I said, even then, like I said, I'd only seen me and one other person play it. Sangromancer. This card is like, if you're playing a discard deck, auto include, which I would imagine most people who play discard decks, it's in there. Like, I don't really play against many discard decks, so it's hard to say. But when I built one, auto include. But I think even in a sacrifice deck, or a deck where you're controlling the battlefield, like removing creatures, or, you know, sacking stuff to destroy everyone else's creatures, this has to be in there. I mean, 3 life every time a creature dies, and you got 3 opponents, that's just so much incremental life gain. It's insane. You're playing black, so you're going to want to use your life as a resource. Bolas of Citadel, Necropotence. I mean, just gaining 3 life every time someone's creature dies or they discard a card is just, it's so much value. I mean, like, especially in black decks where you're going to use your life to get so far ahead of everyone. I think it's totally worth it. And it's super cheap too. I'll put the price under it because I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's like $1 to $2, if not cheaper. Like I think it's just so much value for, especially in a black deck that's either making people discard or people sacrificing creatures. But yeah, that was my top 5 list. I just randomly chose two separate random sets and just kind of went through them and picked cards that were cheap that I thought should see way more play. So I'll definitely keep making the list. I thought it was fun just browsing the whole list of the set and then finding cards. Oh wait, that's actually pretty good and that's super cheap. So if you guys enjoyed the video, like it, share, comment, and tune back for some more. Thank you.